We lost to Georgia State.
I'm sitting here again talking about the same things.
Well, another week of college football is in the books, and a lot of teams have been exposed as frauds. Many others have been exposed as some of the greatest that have walked the plane of existence. But what we do know is that there are many episodes of chaos, as we all have witnessed. I think we're all too clear on that. Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the FBS Report, featuring your two co-hosts, me, Squidtard Sports, and then that individual right over there, Mr. Red, as we call him. Now, go ahead and tell the people what FBS stands for, because there was certainly a lot of that we saw over the weekend.
FBS. What was it? God damn it. Jeez, what the tip of my tongue? Fried burrito syndrome? No. Freakishly bullish shit? No. Oh, fucking bullshit! That's what it's for.
Plenty of that over the week, man. Yeah, good to see all of you guys tonight. We're going to have a great show tonight, as always. Going to talk some college football with you. I'll tell you about week 4. We'll preview week 5 and give you a whole lot more. But before that, of course, we do have ourselves a itty-bitty content update. Just both of us giving your thoughts on the content. Red, I'll let you go first and tell the people about what you've got coming up this week.
So, just like Squid, I make my own weekly recap at this point. Didn't really intend to at the start of the year, but certain events have forced my hand. So I got my own weekly chaos vid, only slightly different than what Squid does. His is a little bit more in-depth. Mine is a bit more, shall we say, violent. And now that's a big hint on what kind of episode I'm getting up this week. That should be dropping Wednesday on my YouTube channel, Tuesday on Patreon. And beyond that, I actually am not doing any live streams this weekend. Taking the kids out to Indiana, and going to spend the weekend with some family and take a break from it for a little bit. But one more thing I am doing this Sunday, I'm going to be linking up with my guys over at the Ohio Podcast. Going to do a recap of Ohio State versus Washington this Sunday night on their show. Shout out to the guys, the Ohio Podcast. I was on there earlier this year for my Ohio State video. Going to be linking up with them again. Yes, I know, shocking. How did me of all people, end up with a family? Well, life finds a way, as they say. Squid,
Tell me about it.
What about you, buddy?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, of course, you guys can expect the chaos at the regular time frame that it's always been. Of course, I've had to push it back a little bit because life's been getting in the way, and that's how it goes to, from time to time. Squid is PG-13, Red is straight M for mature. Yeah, that's not, you're definitely not far from that. Okay, get that off the screen. Yeah. But yeah, no, I have been a very, very busy individual, especially today. I was not prepared for it, no matter how many days I could prepare for it, but I did a live stream over on the main channel, Squidtard, for a good 6 hours, playing nonstop Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and I had a great time. Did a collab with a bunch of people, including Mia Zhu, who's been on the channel multiple times. Shout out to her. She actually just hit 5,000 subscribers today. Congratulations on that. But yeah, no, we did a collab. We just played Sonic Racing Cross Worlds for like 6 hours and stuff like that. We had a great time. Yeah, but I'm definitely a little bit drained after it. I'll say that much. That stream, going 6 hours playing the same game, it'll cook your psyche if you don't take a rest in between.
Honestly, like I do college football gameplay streams occasionally. I can't go more than 3 hours at a time without starting to lose it a little bit, and then my skills start to slip. It can be brutal on the psyche. I don't know how people do that shit for 10 to 12 hours on Twitch. Fucking nonsense.
It is. It's crazy. It's baffling to me too. But we made it work. It panned out really, really well for all of us. It was a fun stream. I kind of did forget what it was like I'm sure you know that I do this thing on the main channel now, basically just the channel rebuilding program. And it's been a while since I the viewership was kind of stagnating a bit there. And I was like, is anybody actually watching this? But no, I did. I had a really good time. It was a fun game to play, fun people to hang around with for the time. We had a great time on there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Time to talk some college football. That's what I do know. First of all, we do have a $5 super chat from Nick Boris. Shout out to him. Says, cheers to the fucking bullshit report. Today's show is brought to you by the 18th anniversary of I'm a Man, I'm 40. Also, please tell me Big Red is best college football mascot. All right, will do.
I don't know, man. Brutus might have his number, personally. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I appreciate the $5 super chat nonetheless. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some of the college football stuff because we have got a lot to touch on over the week, shall we? I guess it should start out with pretty much every. I'm a man, I'm 40, since we're touching on that. Boy, I'm going to say this. I've been talking about the brain eating amoeba in Stillwater, but I think even they're dead now because there ain't no more brain around Stillwater as it is. So, Oklahoma State is just an absolute mess this season. Yeah. And in fact, I'd argue they look even worse than they did the year before because lest we forget, Oklahoma State and Tulsa played last year, and Oklahoma State beat the hell out of them. And now they come in this year and they get beat by them at home. And one of the most boring, pathetic attempts at an offense I've ever seen in my life. It's just sort of a repeat thing every single week with Oklahoma State. And we kind of saw a little bit of this, when they played Oregon, because that Oregon game was an absolute mess too. But definitely. Wow. This is pathetic. And you can only blame the injury bug for so many problems on your team. Like nobody can catch the ball. That's not a Zane Flores issue. That's a wide receiver issue. Sure, it would be nice to have Haas Engie around, but I don't think he would fix what's going on with y'all. He just wouldn't. It's just Oklahoma State's just a mess, man.
No, I agree with you completely. Top to bottom, this team is an absolute tire fire in the actual sense of the word. Like, you look at that game against Tulsa. Keep in mind, Tulsa was starting their backup quarterback, first-year head coach football team here. They haven't been good, and they haven't been good for a while. I think in the last 3 out of 4 years, they've missed out on bowl seasons. So it's a rebuilding program. And to come out and do this shit against Tulsa, it's a sign of the times in Stillwater. You literally – I said this at the end of last year. Oklahoma State needs to tear everything down to the studs and start from scratch. And they didn't do that at all. They reloaded, sure, but they reloaded with a lot of garbage from the look of it. Nobody wants to come to this fucking school. Nobody gives a fuck about who Mike Gundy is. That's a huge disadvantage if you're talking about trying to get guys in for the portal, NIL, transfer portal. It's bad enough you're in the Big 12. Now you're at the bottom of the Big 12, and you're just not going to be able to retain a lot of those, up-and-coming players on your team. And a lot of the guys you do get that are worth a shit, they don't gel well together because, hey, personality is sometimes a little bit more important than skill set. So I don't know in particular what needs to change at Oklahoma State. It's all bad. It's all rotten. Everything about it sucks, and it all needs to change. And it starts with Mike Gundy, frankly. The dude announced today on, I think ESPN ran a portal on this today, and I saw it on X, that he's not going to resign. He's going to stay at Oklahoma State. He's not going to leave. And I immediately was like, they're going to have to fire him. Like, that was really the only thing I could think of that as to why he's staying there, is because they're going to give him a graceful exit. No, he's not going to exit. He's got a contract for a few more years, and he's got a $15 million buyout through 27, which will then drop down to a $10 million buyout. They're not going to last 2 more years under Mike Gundy. I'm pretty sure if they go like 1-11, 2-10, he's going to get the axe, and he's going to be fired. And I'm having a really hard time looking at their actual schedule, how they're going to even remotely make it to a respectable level. They went 3-9 last year. I think they're on path to do worse this year, which is impossible in Power 4 football sometimes, but here we are.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and of course, some of you are probably wondering, and there's been outlets lying about it all day. Oh my God, the dog won't shut up. Okay, there's been no announcement yet of any like real announcement of Mike Gundy getting fired. So until the announcement is made by an official Twitter account, make sure you
Like
know
us.
who.
Like,
Yeah,
we
or
don't
us. Or us. Yeah, we don't scam the people. So
Yeah,
keep
when
that in
we
mind.
see a report that says Diego Pavia is going to try to sue for his 7th-year eligibility, we eat that shit up and then immediately retract it when we're fucking wrong because On3 was fucking lying through their teeth.
Of course. Yeah. What changed is what we ask ourselves. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a thing at all.
Goddamn thing.
Yeah. No. Hold on. Let me go back. Weird. Oh, that's why. Okay. But yeah. No, that was that was bad. Really, really bad. Oh my God. I'm about to yell at this dog. I'm about to yell. Nobody's shutting her up. So somebody should be down there telling her to shut up, but nobody is. She's just sitting there barking the entire time, and nobody will tell her to shut up.
What the dog do, right? What the
Yeah,
fuck
what
does
the dog?
do?
Really, what is the dog doing? That's what I want to know.
He probably found himself a fucking a rabbit or something in your house and is just like trying to bark it to death or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, ignoring that, let's get to more important.
The dog
things.
is sick of Mike Gundy too. He wanted to weigh in.
Right. Okay, so obviously we have one coach that's definitely on the hot seat and is pretty much just waiting to get canned. Let's go to another one in that same scenario, shall we? I think we all know what I'm talking about here. Our good friend, our good buddy pal friend from the Sun Belt, Mr. Billy Napier. And the performance he put up today or on Saturday was about what you would expect from Billy Napier. Just absolutely atrocious, abysmal, and pathetic. Because that's exactly what we got. I mean, the stats tell the whole story, but if you watch the whole game, it felt like a blowout from the entire way through. DJ Lagway, 12 of 13, 61 yards passing. Right, dude. I think Florida had 31 total yards at half on Miami's defense. I mean, the run game was okay, but
That's okay.
That was on a 27-yard rush. The wide receivers couldn't get anything going. Carson Beck, I'm going to say this: Miami's offense was actually kept to a minimum by Florida. Florida's defense actually had a pretty good day, all things considered. They didn't. Carson Beck wasn't really able to even throw on him. He did his trademark thing, which is throw an interception. We all know he does that. That's what he does best. But you look at the rest of the stats. They didn't really even do all that much. If you watch the game, you can tell that too. They punted a lot of times to Florida, and every time they gave Florida the ball back, guess what Florida did? Florida would spend three plays, and then it's right back to Miami. It would be a run up the gut, and then you couldn't forget the third down wide receiver screen from third and long. It feels like I'm watching Tennessee's offense from last year. It's absolutely terrible and atrocious, and obviously that showed in the amount of points they put up on Miami's defense. 26-7, your final score. Just pathetic overall. Red, what you think about Florida?
Give him credit for not throwing 5 interceptions. That's the only nice thing I got to say about Florida. Like, for real, that's the only thing you accomplished. You didn't turn the ball over. Fucking whoop-de-doo. Congrats, Florida. You passed the bare basics of football. I actually want to talk more shit about Miami than Florida here, because here's the thing. Billy Napier's job was on the line. It's on the line every single week until the end of the season or until they finally fucking fire him. And they came out this week, and they did the best they could. I think they didn't have a ton of mistakes. I don't think they just played shitty football, but this shitty football team still managed to keep the score to a respectable area up until the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Genuinely, it took that Miami didn't score from the first drive of the first quarter until 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They didn't get a single fucking touchdown. Okay. They got shut out completely in the third, and Florida scored 7 and was actually threatening them for a period of time there, and then Miami pulled away because they were the better team. Carson Beck did fuck all. He threw 1 interception, no touchdowns, QBR 51. Mark Fletcher, 116 yards, 1 touchdown was really the only way they were moving on Saturday night. Everybody else just fucking flopped, and I immediately think in my head, like, no, Miami, come on, it's not October yet. You can't turn into a pumpkin now. We can't go crystal balling yet. It's not even close to week 8. I genuinely feel like that's the only reason Billy Napier has a job right now. It's because of the fact that they were able to play against Miami to the point where they were able to keep the Hurricanes virtually out of the end zone for 90% of the game and kept Carson Beck's performance to an absolute bare fucking minimum. So, sure, I'll give Florida some due here. They actually played decent defense and knew who they were up against and actually kept Carson Beck in check, which that's not an easy thing to do. But the other end of the coin, the fuck does their offense do? Why is DJ Lagway? I heard DJ Lagway's in a boot, by the way. He has a foot injury. I don't know how significant it is or what. I saw that on X, and it would not surprise me if that's the case. He's probably going to be out this Saturday, which can take that as a blessing or a curse if you're a Gators fan. You actually might have a chance to see what you got in your backups, and they might be better than whatever the fuck you've been throwing on the field the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, it's a struggle for sure, man. I don't even know where to start with Florida and just where they go from here. Because, we could talk about what they do if they fire Billy, which it's pretty inevitable at this point that that's coming. But
they would hire Mike Gundy immediately.
Well, stupid. As stupid as that, you know what? No, I take that back. That actually isn't as stupid as that sounds, because I'm willing to bet. I'm honestly willing to bet that Scott Strickland's still their AD after all. Who knows what they'll do?
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to go full stupid, you could do that.
Right. Funk Velic, thank you for the 2. Says SEC refs might as well have a middle finger to our sideline. War damn Eagle. Yeah. So tough loss there, buddy. We're gonna get into that too. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Salt. We'll get there.
Yeah. No. He's a reasonable crash out. Can't really blame him for that. Don't worry. We'll touch on that.
You gotta really fuck up for me to agree with SEC fans about something.
Right. Appreciate the 2 again. Says any other fan base would be heated as Auburn fans are. No, you're rational. I've been in that position, man. I've been in that position. We'll talk about it. Don't you worry. All right. Here's your next coach that's pretty much on the hot seat, waiting for the pink slip at this rate.
To be clear, those first 2 weren't even on the hot seat. They were on the nuclear bomb seat because that sucker's about to go off.
Yeah, well, here's one basically in the depths of a volcano. Of anybody who really needed this one, it was absolutely Sam Pittman. And they just got cooked like bacon, man. They just charred to smithereens by the Memphis Tigers, which, credit to them. Now they've put themselves in the same place as Tulane, North Texas, and Tulane, North Texas. It's South Florida. Yeah. They put themselves at the very tippy top of the list of teams that could be in the conversation for the group of 5 in the playoffs. And a lot of that is due to the fact that their offense just runs so well. Sutton Smith he actually had a career record in this game, 147 yards rushing and a touchdown. On top of that, he had 64 yards on one play towards the end of the game. But the way that, all that aside, though, even with the performance by Memphis, the way that game ended, it pretty much encapsulates everything we already know about the Arkansas Razorbacks. They've got a chance to win the ball game, down by 1, deep in Memphis territory. They're running the ball down their throats. All they've got to do is punch it in with minimal time left, and they've got themselves the win. Guess what happens? They fumble the freaking football. They fumble the ball. It gets picked up by Memphis, and that's how they lose the game. What a Arkansas way to lose. Don't you think so, Red? Don't you think so? You can't think of a better Arkansas way to lose than that.
No, I mean, it's genuine because they lost the exact same way last week against Ole Miss. They had Ole Miss on the ropes driving down the field to win the game, and they fumbled the ball on their final drive, which cost them the game. Exact same scenario here, only this time they were inside the 10-yard line about to score a touchdown when they fumble the fucking ball. So it's even more painful, and not even when you consider the fact Memphis is a group of 5 team from the American who shouldn't even be in the same category in terms of playing well against an SEC team. Let me talk about Memphis for a second. Those bastards over in Memphis, Tennessee, the forgotten football fucking school of Tennessee, Memphis, because no one else gives a fuck about them except Beale Street. They've actually been doing pretty decent the last 2 years. They seemed like they were going to be a contender last year, and then they kind of fell off late. They're starting off hot again. I'm going to be really curious to see if they can actually maintain all the way through this time, to be determined. But they've kind of been threatening in the group of 5 the last couple of years. Now getting back to Arkansas. Woo, Big Suey, you guys sure should drop the bacon. My God, 2 weeks in a row now you've dropped fumbles to lose the game. Taylor Green looked like absolute shit. Don't let those 325 yards fool you. He looked like absolute shit. 2 interceptions. Come on, dude. Fucking bullshit. I genuinely wonder how Arkansas is allowed to stay in the SEC considering their track record. Like, I genuinely think they would be better off going to the Big 12 at this rate, because they just can't get their fucking shit together and be competitive with anybody. Since they joined after leaving the Southwest Conference in the early 90s, it's always been the same old hogs. Spare for a brief moment in 2010 before, oh, wait, you're playing Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. So it's the same old bullshit with Arkansas, and I feel like us making fun of them is just, it's kind of like kicking a baby across the street. But you know what? It's just Arkansas, dude. It's terrible. It really fucking sucks. And I used to live there for a year. They're passionate about their hogs, and I feel for them because they don't have anything else in Arkansas to cheer for.
Right. Well, first of all, Kevin, appreciate the 5, buddy. Says, firstly, I'm with Fawn on this one. Not happy at all with how the Auburn game went down. Secondly, Arkansas has a grip of bacon. I swear to Christ. Yeah. No, I mean,
someone needs to tell them to stop eating the bacon grease.
They got a curse of bacon is more fitting. They can't get out of their own way, man. And no matter, I mean, that was the worst accident I've seen from Arkansas since Bobby P crashed a motorcycle.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was a flat out mess. Yeah. I mean, there are definitely some other messes, though. Definitely some other big time messes. And this has been I guess this is your favorite this is actually, you know what? This is your favorite for clown of the season right now, in all honesty. This is your favorite. I didn't think I'd be saying that considering UCLA exists, but it's the truth. Considering what you thought of them in the offseason, this is absolutely the favorite for clown of the season.
Yeah.
What a disappointment they are. And what a clown show this is turning into. Dabo Swinney gets on the air last week, goes on and on and on about, I won 2 national championships with Clemson. If they want to fire me, they can go ahead and fire me. They did all this, woe is me. I'm better than all of you. Like that type of mentality all over again. And then what happens? You come in up against Syracuse, the fruit of all teams, and you get beat down at home. You don't just lose. I mean, you get outright dominated by the fruit. So, obviously a really bad performance by Clemson. That goes without saying. Cade Klubnik threw 60 passes, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Clemson always has to have a turnover in every single game. It's just, it's a given at this point. But he looked terrible out there. The run game for Clemson was an absolute mess, besides Adam Randall getting a few good runs in. The fact that they kept turning the ball over just kept screwing them over. It's the same problems for Clemson over and over and over again. You think Garrett Riley would be this great hire for him, and he just disappoints me every single week. But no. I mean, give credit to where it's due to Syracuse. They had their way with Clemson's defense, throwing all over them, running all over them. They had all kinds of fun with the defense for Clemson. And a lot of that was definitely due to what we saw from Steve Angeli, the good old Jelly Bean. 18 of 31, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, a win like this, unfortunately, does not come without its consequences. And that consequence is in the form of the injury bug. As Steve Angeli gets, he's got a torn Achilles, and he's out for the rest of the year. So that's absolutely brutal for Syracuse. And they were having a really good run. Now Ricky Collins, we'll see what he can do once he starts next week or whenever they play. But definitely going to be missing Angeli Bean. I imagine I will be missing Angeli Bean. I think college football as a whole will be missing Angeli Bean. But tough loss for Syracuse, but a great win for them on the road. But this goes without saying, I think, Red, but Clemson's just, they've gone from not only just being frauds to just being outright terrible. I mean, we thought they were going to own the ACC, and the ACC appears to have owned them. So, it's bad. It's bad, real bad.
Yeah, let me just expand a little bit on the Angeli thing. Dude's a fucking warrior. He got a knee injury in the first quarter. I think a Clemson player fell on it weird when they were tackling him after he dove forward to try to get a first down and had to sit out of play. Had to put a knee brace on for the whole second half. When I first saw he was out for the rest of the game with the injury, I figured, his knee just gave out under him and he'd be back in a few weeks or something. No, it was something else completely different. Like his entire dude got his ass whipped by this Clemson defense. Make no mistake about it. The Clemson defense is tough, and they beat the piss out of him. Just like they beat the piss out of Haynes King. It was a win, but at what cost, right? So huge ups to him and the rest of Syracuse, because that's brutal to lose him. But that said, Clemson, I got 3 words for you. Wait till next year, because at this point you're out of the playoffs. There's no fucking hope of that. Like, you're out of the playoffs. Klubnik's lost any chance of winning the Heisman. Dabo has been exposed. His entire fucking system needs to be completely redone top to bottom if he's going to be anything competitive. Some people might say, it's because you play in the fucking Red, that's 4. Fine. Fuck it. 4 words. Whatever. I can't count. Seriously. I had a C average in math. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here with Clemson. Y'all are fucking terrible. Okay? You're just terrible. Any good team that's actually playoff caliber takes care of Syracuse, takes care of Georgia Tech. Bar none. Y'all ain't doing that. And because y'all ain't doing that, now you're on the outside looking in. I don't know how the fuck LSU was kept so close in check week 1, and yet y'all can't put these games away and even just get blown out by Syracuse at home. I don't know if it's a morale thing. I don't know if it's a personnel thing. I don't know if it's a gut check thing or a leadership team or what. But Dabo isn't helping the situation coming out, before this game saying, oh, man, 9-4 is our worst season we've ever had in the 14 years I've been here. That's the worst we've ever done. And, we have these expectations that are so hard to meet. Yeah. Well, dipshit, you set those expectations when you won 3 national titles. Sorry. If you can't live up to the expectations anymore, kindly fuck off and let somebody else try at it, Oh, you don't want to go to the beach? Fine. I'm sure Florida will be more than happy to take your ass. I'm just saying. Or Oklahoma State. Go rebuild another program and make them into a power. Just get the fuck out of Clemson here soon if you're able to, because it's going downhill and it ain't getting better. I feel like it kind of feels like we're watching the dying day. Dying is not the right word for this. It feels like I'm watching the final years of the Joe Paterno era at Penn State, where his teams always were kind of good, but also just kind of, like they always fell apart. They would have their moments when they were good, and then they would completely crash down, and then they would be considered serious, and they would be tough, and then they would fucking lose to Ohio State or whatever. Same thing here with Clemson. Oh, we got a Heisman candidate. We got a decent team under us. And you fall to fucking Syracuse and Georgia Tech in back-to-back weeks. Just, yeah, like, full stop. I feel like we're on the decline in the end for Dabo, not a pause, because especially with this new era of NIL and his slow change to and that new how college football works now, it's showing. It's showing really bad. And he either needs to adapt or just fucking fuck off at this point and go become a defensive coordinator for somebody else and relearn how to do this.
Well, there you go. I think, yeah, that pretty much tells the whole story. First of all, Super Nuclear with the twos. Appreciate it, buddy. Says, so is Auburn still a basketball, or is Auburn still a basketball school still?
They were a basketball school ever?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
I'm going to
question.
be honest. I'm not a basketball guy, so when I think basketball, I think Duke, Kansas, Indiana, Michigan State, Ohio State, some sort of Florida, not Auburn, especially not Alabama, although I know Alabama made a run.
No.
Or the Lady Volunteers, of course.
Oh, yeah. No. Go Lady Vols. All right, here we go. So this was probably, I don't know how this wasn't, like considered like college game day worthy or anything like that, but I guess they just wanted to go watch Florida get executed. But this was, this was actually a pretty good game up until the fourth quarter, where it obviously went one direction over the other. And that was to be expected. First of all, this was a fun game to watch. Texas Tech and Utah. People say, "Oh, if nobody's scoring, it's boring." No, watching two great defenses battling it out can sometimes be entertaining, and this was one of those examples. And then, it was fun. It was actually really fun to watch these two defenses, battle it out for dominance over each other. The score was 10-3 at the half, and it kind of stayed that way up until the fourth quarter, and then. Obviously, Texas Tech pretty much ran away with it. The Tortillas went a-flying and the Red Raiders went a-raiding. And that's exactly what they did on Utah's defense. And a lot of that was due to the fact that early on, I think it was, I don't remember which quarter it was, but Baron Morton goes down. Will Hammond comes in, and then suddenly the Texas Tech offense is suddenly set ablaze, and they just start just going all over these fools. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that Baron Morton he's a pocket passer. He's a quarterback that'll stay back in the pocket and do work there. He's not one that's going to run around you the entire time. He's not a dual threat like that. Same can't be said for Will Hammond. He brought an element to the game that Utah was not prepared to go up against, and that showed in their defensive performance against him. 169 yards through the air, 61 through the ground. 2 touchdowns. He played a way better game for sure. And I think that definitely it's one of those cases. It's weird, because this is one of those cases where Utah's injury chart is lesser than the team that they're playing against. But they still found a way to blow it in the end. So even when it's not even them, injuries always find a way to screw over Utah. And that's exactly what happened in this game. Now, of course, I'm going to mention this about somebody else too, and we're going to get into that game shortly. But I think a common excuse with people when it comes to these ranked-on-ranked matchups is that when they see a score like this, they're quick to overreact about one team, saying that, oh, well, clearly that team was overrated. They suck. They're not very good. And that's why they got beat as bad as they did. No, it's just the other team is probably way better. It doesn't mean that the other team sucks all of a sudden. It could. In some cases, it could be that's the case. But you can't confirm that until you actually see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with you completely. And I think we're going to rehash that here a little bit later on when we get to a particular game. I think all you fuckers know which one I'm talking about. As for this one, I'm just going to be upfront here. This is Texas Tech's money well spent. They've invested over $28 million into NIL to get the best players they possibly could buy onto their team for this season to make a run for the Big 12, make a run for the playoffs, and save Joey McGuire's job. And I think with this result, he's definitely at least done one of those things. He's saved his job for the moment. I think he'll be safe regardless of result, as long as they just keep winning and getting the wins where they need to, whether or not they make the Big 12 title or not. That said, you could say that Utah might not be that bad, but Devin Dampier threw 2 interceptions and no touchdowns in this game. He was very, very inaccurate with the passing, and it shows quite a bit there. He had a couple of really cool throws. I saw he had an early bomb to what was it? He saw had an early touchdown pass that got negated due to a penalty or whatever. And after that, they were just shut down the rest of the way. Texas Tech's defense completely swarmed them. And for Tech, I mean, I want to see more. That's the thing with these games as well. On the flip side, oh, this team's really bad. Okay, shut the fuck up. We don't know. I want to see more from Texas Tech. Guess who they got to play in 2 weeks? They're off this week. Guess who they play next weekend, Squid?
Who's that?
You'll never believe it. 4-0 Houston. 4-0 Houston, who will likely 4-0 Houston. They're 3-0 currently, but they got a cakewalk game coming up this week. So probably going to be 4-0 Houston, a team that has kind of surprised people and shouldn't be, 4-0. Well, we're going to find out just how good Houston is. And we're going to find out if Tech is able to take their opponents seriously every single week in the preparation. It'll be another test for them. We'll get a better idea of, I think, what this team is going to be as we get into the meat of the schedule once we get to week 6. But for now, I just want to say good job. Hey, you know what? You guys can do the bare minimum, beat ranked teams. So that's good. That's a great sign for your Big 12 championship aspirations. Now, if you can beat Houston and then you can beat Kansas, you might be cooking with something here. We'll see.
Well, you heard it from him, so I guess we'll find out a little bit more about Tech. I already think they're a really good team. I think that showed in the talent fee that they brought to the table. But I also think Utah has potential to get things, right the ship, get their stuff together, and then have a way better season than they had last year. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm very high on both teams, and for good reason.
Well, my thought on Utah, to wrap that up real quick, is just they're just rebuilding. They're rebuilding. Like they got a lot of work to do on their own side to get the team to where it needs to be, where it once was. It's a project team. It's a lot of parts just kind of thrown together to make it work this year. I feel like so. The fact that they started off so hot is a testament to how well their coaching staff has adapted to all the changes that happened during the offseason. So credit to them. They're just not where they need to be yet, and that's okay. You can still be developing and still make a bowl game.
Yeah, to make a bowl game, huh? All right then. Well, yeah. No. I get what you're saying. Here we go. So we just touched on one big time matchup that didn't go the way they wanted to hear. Now this is probably the biggest shocker of the week, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, and for good reason. Yeah. A lot of people picked Illinois outright, including me and Red, I believe. And we all kind of thought that they were going to go in there, make some sort of defensive matchup, and then just, sort of pull away with it later on. But the complete opposite happened. In fact, this was pretty much over at some point in the second quarter. You could just tell that it was over then. I can't believe Kirk Cignetti actually said something true. He said we beat the bleep out of top 25 teams, and then he actually went in there and then beat the bleep out of a top 25 team. Now again, I feel like he was sort of pushing it at the end there. He was still slinging the football. He was. It wasn't like Illinois was just like giving him turnovers and then they'd go and kind of just score because the other team gave up. No, he was like slinging it out there. He had his guys in pretty much on Illinois' fourth and third stringers. He had his first stringers in there, basically slinging on him the entire time. So, I definitely think he pushed it with that. So the score still tells the entire story. I think obviously we know Indiana was way better in this matchup than Illinois. It wasn't even close. But Illinois was going into this game as a top 10 team. And while we know they're not a top 10 team now, what we do need to realize is that they're still a pretty good team. They're just not as good as Illinois. But people are so quick to jump. Illinois sucks. Illinois sucks. Illinois sucks. They had their four stringers in against Indiana's first stringers, and they couldn't stop them. Yep. All right. Yep. This sucks. Yep. Worst team ever in the history of history. No, of course not. That's not how it panned out. But I mean, great performance by Indiana the entire way through. Still, at this point, they're going to be a top 15, top 10 team. And if they continue to win out, they could be making another run at the playoffs. I mean, great job to Kirk Cignetti for actually rebuilding this program and turning it into something that's a legitimate threat in the Big Ten. So we'll keep an eye on them. I know they play Oregon coming up pretty soon. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? Who knows? Yeah. We've seen crazier things.
I want you guys to look at the Illinois rushing yards total for this game. That's it. 2 yards rushing. That is if you're a defensive coordinator, that's the kind of shit that makes you cream your jeans right there. 2 yards rushing allowed the entire game. Sorry. 2 yards rushing allowed the entire game by Indiana. That Luke Altmaier, negative 27 yards rushing. Caden Fagan, 18 yards rushing total. His longest run was 6 yards. There is just granted, okay, you only carry the ball 20 times, half as much as Indiana did. Gotcha. Maybe that's the fucking problem. But then again, they were on the field for 3 plays and gone. 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. I saw them cross the 50 maybe once or twice during the course of this game. It was just a complete Indiana Hoosier teabagging from start to finish. From the block punt that kicked it all off, because that did happen, and then just touchdown to touchdown to touchdown. 5 touchdowns thrown by Fernando Mendoza. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? That is an insane amount. I thought they were going to put up 70 on them towards the end. You can say that Indiana was running up the score a little bit. I believe in the mantra of if their first stringers are still on the field, don't pull your first stringers. Don't give up. You keep fighting that good fight till the very end. Just, they're not going to try to hurt you, but you got to keep going after them if they're coming after you. And if Brett Bielema legitimately was pulling his players out early, because I thought I saw Alberto Mendoza come in, not Fernando, Alberto Mendoza come in sometime in the fourth quarter to play cleanup. He just didn't throw the ball at all.
Right.
Yeah,
that is what happened.
Yeah, I saw him come in late in the game, and I was live streaming this. So, I saw it. He didn't throw the ball. He was in for 2 or 3 series. That's why he's not showing on the passing yards. But, you got to play until the final whistle. And it does prove that Brett Bielema is the opposite of clutch still. Nothing's changed from his days at Wisconsin and Arkansas. He still is allergic to the primetime lights. And I think Illinois should still be fine. Genuinely speaking, 9-3, 10-2 is still technically possible, but you're in for a bad day when Ohio State comes to Champaign in a few weeks. We're walking in with the yellow buck, and we're walking the fuck back out with the yellow buck. I'm sorry, Alana. It's going to be a bad day. I'm just glad we don't have to play Indiana this year because that team fucking scares me now. If you are a Big Ten opponent and you got Indiana on your schedule, you are shitting yourself right now, especially if you're Oregon, who is a little bit of a project themselves. Yeah, they're ranked high. Yeah, they've played well to start the year, but they had so much that they had to absolutely replace the last minute to start the season, not to mention one of their top wide receivers is injured. So it's going to be a dogfight, and I think the fact that Indiana played exceptional defense in this game tells me that come against Oregon in a couple of weeks might be something interesting for all of us who are used to Indiana being the doormat.
Oh yeah, no, that age is over. That's what we know. They are no longer the doormat of the conference. Yeah, 2 yards as a team is wild. Pretty much stole the words entirely out of my mouth. Then Drax says that. Get back to Crossroads, buddy. All right, so I guess, we've got so many games to touch on, and so little time to do it. It feels like because
we need to get to the Oklahoma game. We need to get to the Oklahoma game. We got to talk about that fucker. We got to. I'm going to start that one off right now.
No. By all means,
and just
go right ahead.
And just go on a little bit of a rant here. Why is it that every goddamn week we get bullshit with the referees in major college football? I can understand the FCS, D2, D3, JUCO, NIIA. Like, I can understand shit like that happening. This is the top. This isn't even like MAC. This isn't even like Conference USA. This is SEC football, and y'all are missing blatant penalties. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, one of the Oklahoma wide receivers in the second quarter, they did a trick play where the wide receiver pretended he was being subbed out. Well, nobody else ran on the field. Instead, when the defense stopped looking at him, he stepped on the sideline, stepped back on the field, ran a go route straight for the end zone, and he was wide the fuck open. Easiest touchdown of his life. If the referees actually knew their head from their ass, they would have threw the flag and called a 15-yard penalty for faking up substitution, which is turbo illegal against the NCAA rulebook. But they didn't. And instead, the NCAA, or not the NCAA, the SEC had to make a half-assed apology on X and say we're handling the matter internally. But Oklahoma still keeps the win. And that touchdown meant that this game did not go to overtime and Oklahoma won. That literally was the difference in the game, that illegal touchdown. And so you got to really fuck up big time for me to say that I agree with SEC fans. Yeah, I fucking agree with you, dumb bastards. This is bullshit. Y'all, Auburn got hosed, man. Auburn got fucking hosed in this one. This should have gone to overtime. This should have been an absolute, overtime thriller. I think Oklahoma still would have won either way, but that's beside the point. Auburn got screwed in that regard. And again, like, faking a substitution in general, you just can't do that, and these referees should fucking know better. That's all I got to say on the matter. I don't really care about the play. Oh, actually, I do. This is why I think Oklahoma would have won even if it went to overtime. 10 fucking sacks on Jackson Arnold, their old quarterback. They missed him so much they wouldn't stop hugging him violently into the dirt.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, they actually had 9. But it's 9 sacks. It might as well be 10. You're not wrong.
Does the safety not count as a sack? I read it was 10 somewhere. Damn it.
It might be. I don't know. I would assume that it doesn't. But maybe it does. I don't know. We'll see. They changed it to 9 after the game. Says
damn it. That's good.
I mean, so what? It's still 9 sacks, and I mean, to go off a lot of what your points. I mean, I've been hearing certain arguments about whether or not he was actually inbounds when it happened, and whatever the deal is with that, that's not really my concern. I mean, obviously there was some horrible ref ball throughout this entire game. The one that I kept my eye on was the pass interference. Where it was clear he had his arms or like it was like clear interference, like textbook pass interference, full on contact on the wide receiver when Arnold was throwing it deep, and they didn't call the flag for that. And that obviously that was a very, very bad miss by the refs. I mean, that's easily PI as long as you're looking, but he wasn't. You can literally see him as he's hugging this wide receiver. The ref is looking in some opposite direction and nobody even sees it happen. It's the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. But I mean, the ref ball epidemic, especially in the SEC, is definitely a problem. Does not mean there's some sort of biased agenda against Auburn. Doesn't mean that the SEC is in cahoots with Oklahoma or any of that stupid dumb crap. So go ahead and stop with that. Yeah. No, that's because that's stupid. That doesn't make sense. And you sound like a complete tinfoil hat moron when you run around with takes like that. But I mean, it's a problem, and hopefully they'll address it. Probably won't, but Auburn had multiple opportunities to get back in this game, and they screwed themselves over, especially on that final drive where Auburn started deep in their own territory. Yes, they did start deep in their own territory, but the play calling, the execution, that entire drive on that entire final drive was just absolutely atrocious. And that was pretty much the example of why Auburn lost. You can blame ref ball all you want to, but next time bring a consistent offense and maybe you might be able to jump them. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So. This is to those of you who think that, this is favoritism towards one team or another. Guys, listen, Alabama wasn't playing. That argument is so fucking bullshit at this point. Like, stop it. Get some help. Therapy is free, I think, for the first like 2 or 3 sessions with those people.
Yeah, the narrative's old. I think we can go ahead and get on that.
Nick
All right.
Saban is. Oh, he retired.
Bummer. All right. Any other games we need to do a deep dive on?
Oh God, what the fuck was? Hang on.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. This would be our last one, and then we'll just do the lightning round, and then get on to the next week. Because I want to talk about this one real quick. And this was a team I was actually high on going into this week because there was a really good chance they could have started off 4-0 for the first time since 2019. And not only did they let me down, they let the entire college football world down in a way that we've never seen. And that was the Cal Golden Bears. Oh, man, they put up a big stinker on Saturday, didn't they? Some people were already asleep when this happened. But, yeah, they put up a big stinker on the road at San Diego State. And this, unfortunately, is not a G5 contender. They're not a playoff contender. They're just the Aztecs. That's really all they are. And Cal went into their stadium and then laid a big, fat, giant egg. And yeah, I mean, JKS, who I was really, really high on throughout the season, I guess he had his true freshman game because that was a true freshman performance I saw right there. QBR of 17.4 pretty much tells the entire story. Cal couldn't run the ball. They were getting outplayed pretty much in every facet of the game. Their defense going to stop anybody. You know, San Diego State had 4 sacks, several interceptions. Just an awful performance by Cal. And they also got shut out. And they don't preserve that shutout. They don't even get the brownie points that Billy Napier in Florida got. They don't get anything. They get absolutely nothing.
I mean, they held San Diego State scoreless in the first quarter. Yay.
Whoop-de-frick-and-do.
And then they reverted to the meme and they went jacking it in San Diego. I mean, look, this is just classic Cal Golden Bears bullshit, right? We did this. We saw the same thing last year. They started off kind of good, had a nice, easy couple of first weeks. And then what did they do? They lost to Florida State. They were one of Florida State's 2 wins last year. I remember that game, even though I didn't get to talk about it because I was sick. I remember that game very well. So it's just reverting to the meme, honestly, at this point. Like, there's no – I know you were high on JKS, and I'm sorry, buddy. I know you really thought that he was going to be something. He's just another Cal quarterback. He ain't no Aaron Rodgers. He's just another Cal quarterback. And this game just kind of proves it to me. QBR of 17.4. You could have done better by just spiking the ball into the dirt for 60 minutes. That's how bad he was. You got to intentionally fuck that up to be that bad. I'm sorry. Dude was overhyped. You go up against the Aztecs, who have been they've been a mess for the better part of the last 4 years. And they absolutely just smoke you guys like a fucking cigar. So, Cal, you cowed again. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Yeah, no. What about shout out to KJ Brower if he's listening to the show. I was actually talking to him last night, or not last night, Saturday night. We were watching these games go down, and I was watching this game, and about halfway through the third quarter, when San Diego State put up another touchdown, I was like, "Well, I guess the Calgorithm's dead." And I hear him go, "Were they ever alive?"
Please, we got to bring him back to life. Dude, he's been dead for 2 weeks. Please stop. You're scaring the children.
Nope, never. All right, real quick lightning round before we go ahead and move on to week 5. Let's do a couple of shout-outs. Shout out to Oregon, who's undefeated. They beat up on Oregon State, who's now 0-4. So clearly we know the loser there.
And real quick, rest in peace to the Civil War. They will not be playing next year, that game, due to the bullshit and conflicts from realignment. But it will resume in 27, so have no worries.
True.
The Platypus Trophy will be exchanged again, at least we think. I don't know. Oregon State might eventually start winning again. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, right. We'll have to find out.
Because it's a 2-team conference, I swear. We're not that bad. We just got a bad schedule because it's 2 teams.
Yeah, right.
Call me when you have 8 teams next year.
Yeah, well, another rivalry that's unfortunately dying this year is the Iron Skillet. Shout out to TCU for getting the jump on SMU, getting revenge on them. TCU's they're going to remain undefeated at 3-0, so congratulations to them.
One of the few Southwest Conference rivalries that was still going strong is now officially done. Unlike the Civil War, there is no game scheduled in the near future for these guys. So they forever keep the Iron Skillet, at least until they eventually decide to play another home and home in 2036 or whatever the fuck.
Or whenever, yeah. Shout out to Virginia Tech. They won a game.
Hey, I honestly thought you were going to lose to Wofford. Woo!
Yeah, we owned for Wofford. Good job. Congratulations.
Bomb versus Nuclear Baby. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who to shout out to for being undefeated. Shout out to the Turtles, Maryland. They're 4-0. But I've seen this story all too many times before. They start out really good in September. Everybody's like, oh, watch out for Maryland, Squidtard. And then October rolls around and what happens? They fall flat off the face of the earth and quite literally turn into a big fat pile of AIDS and die. That's literally what they do. So
you ever see a turtle get fired out of a cannon? Just watch Maryland football in October, and that's about what it looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But they did get the W over Wisconsin, which pretty much they're just waiting on the pink slip to fire Luke Fickell. So stay tuned for that.
But are they actually going to do that? Because the athletic director came out and backed Luke Fickell and say, no, we're not going to fire him. We fully support him. Like, if you think about it, if the athletic director fires Luke Fickell, the athletic director could get fired for fucking up the hiring of Luke Fickell so bad that he had to fire him again. So, there's no way out. It's the cycle is eternal of bullshit with Wisconsin right now until somebody above the athletic director says, that's enough. We're just going to just break everything down to the studs.
Nope. Yeah, you pretty much said it there. Shout out to Michigan. Your favorite team. You thought Nebraska had him. I think we all kind of did. But unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes Jr. was not able to hold on even with 300 yards passing. Michigan's their way to a W on the road against the Cornhuskers.
Shit.
Tough luck there. We'll move on so that you don't have to live through that. Shout out to Missouri. The Missouri Tigers. They're undefeated after beating South Carolina 29-20. I'm not sure what's going on with the Gamecocks, but they're a mess. It's a one-man show with Lenora Sellers, and it's just it ain't working out all that well for him.
And if we want to look, we've been looking for who the fuck is a Heisman hopeful right now? Dare I say Bo Prabula at Mizzou? Heisman hopeful, maybe? He's been fucking killing it the first few weeks of the season. I mean, he's been damn near unstoppable. Yeah.
Here's some other teams that are still undefeated. At least some of you. I mean, we all know that the top 10 teams that are undefeated. Ole Miss is undefeated. Texas Tech, we talked about them. Georgia Tech 4-0. Vandy, they're 4-0. Beat Georgia State about 70-21. Put up a 70 bomber. You don't hear that often.
They did not deserve that. Why did you do that to Georgia State? Who the fuck pissed in your Cheerios?
Good job, Vandy. Good job, Vandy. Good job. USC, they're 4-0. You wouldn't have known that because they started their game at 11 o'clock at night for us Eastern timers, but they did. They're 4-0. So congratulations to USC for beating up on Michigan State. Jaden Miava might be the truth. I don't know. We'll see. Louisville, they're undefeated. Beat Bowling Green 40-17. They're sitting there at 3-0. UCF is undefeated after absolutely obliterating Jordan Hudson's wife. And of course, they were making out on the sideline. You can just tell that they really don't care about what's going on.
You got to get your mind on the football, not your own balls, bro. I hate to tell you, they don't work no more.
Oh my goodness. But yes, UCF is still undefeated. Taven Jackson, 25 of 32 for 223 yards. Great game by him. Mississippi State, they're undefeated. We're going to talk about, don't worry, we're going to talk all kinds about that game. All right. And then here's some last few shout outs before we, shout out to Washington. They're undefeated at 3-0. Shout out to Arizona State, won on a game-winning field goal to Baylor. BYU is undefeated. What else we got that we haven't touched on? Oh, Kansas. North Texas. North Texas won that game against Army. It was a brutal matchup. I thought they might have lost. But no, they did. They pulled it out.
Army
Kansas
does not retreat.
Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks, bro, put the whooping to Rich Rod and the Mountaineers. Boy, they brutalized them.
Mountaineers.
Yeah. Super Nuclear with the 2, much appreciated, says, I have to take back what I said about the Packers. We don't even know what you said about the Packers initially, but thank you for the 2. Yeah. Oh, and shout out to Arch Manning for finally doing something. Yeah, Arch.
Can I just say, Arch, Sam Houston did not deserve that fucking stare down in the end zone, buddy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Staring down Sam Houston when you make a touchdown, and you're just like, yeah, I'm bad. Yeah, I'm the fucking Arch Manning. Yeah, what the fuck you gonna do about it? Bro, I was like, dude, I play at Sam Houston. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yep. And then finally, before we move on, one last thing we have to do. We have to say a big fat congratulations to Notre Dame, because guess what they did over this last weekend? They won a football game. Notre Dame.
Man.
I know. The 0-12 experience cannot be done. But they did win the football game. Give credit where it's due to them.
The day Notre Dame goes 0-12, the entire state of Indiana that's not a part of South Bend will be jumping for joy. I can tell you that from a few sources I have. They all fucking hate them except for South Bend.
Well, there you go. You heard it from the man. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into week 5, shall we? We got a lot. We've got some games to talk about. I think we're going to touch on these we're going to touch on as many as I can. And forgive me if we go a little too fast, but time is already scarce as is. And to be honest, I'm running on fumes right now, so I've got about a couple more one-liners in me before I pass out.
Well, I mean, come on, man. You can't be giving up when the going gets tough. Don't get going. You sit your fucking ass at that chair, Squid. You do a line of coke, and you keep yourself going in this motherfucker. You hear me?
You sit at the chair all day, man. All day. But anyway.
I want 72 hours a fucking day, bro.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, take a look at that. Take a look at that. We got a ranked matchup here. Illinois is still ranked after losing the way they did to Indiana. And USC is having to travel on the road to face them. USC is favored by almost a touchdown. They're a 6.5-point favorite. Do you see USC beating them? Do you see USC putting on the hurt just as Indiana did? Or does Illinois get revenge? Or I guess retribution for what happened last week?
I mean, Mayava's a pretty damn good quarterback. He's really been shining the first few weeks of the season, which is the reason why USC has kind of slithered their way back into the top 25 of the AP poll. But that said, Altmaier, he had a bad game against Indiana. Yeah, sure, whatever. I get it. I think that they get their revenge. And it's at home in Champaign at noon. USC is going to be kind of groggy. They're going to be playing thinking it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to say Illinois. It's going to be a close one, but I got Illinois winning this one by 3, I think. I think Bielema and Illini get their win back because, once again, Lincoln Riley is a fucking fraud.
Well, you heard it from the man. I'm going to be the contrarian, not just for contrarian's sake, but also because I do think USC is a very good team and they've actually got some sort of a defense running for them. But I've got USC going on the road and making the hurt for Illinois just a little bit worse. I think USC is going to start out 5-0. I've got a lot of hope in Jaden Miava. He's looked pretty good these past few weeks. They've got a defense that'll show up, and I just think they're a more talented team. So, I mean, we're bound to find out, but that's what I think.
Indeed. That'll be a good one either way, I think. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, no doubt. God, I mean, this game, there's some good games on this week, but there's a lot of
weeks 4 through 6 sometimes are just kind of like you're approaching the middle of the season. Guys are starting their conference play, but there's still it's too early in conference play to really see what the good games are really going to be. You know what I mean? It's not until we get into mid-October to where we get the really.
Oh yeah, no, there are some real. There are some really, really good games. For
we'll get a couple of appetizers here and there. I know this weekend in particular, there's 2 games in particular people are drooling at the mouth over.
Yeah, right. Well, here's one. Here's one in particular that I'm really interested to see. Undefeated number 4 LSU on the road in Oxford to face off against undefeated number 13 Ole Miss, which is also 4-0. Both of these teams have a lot on the line. They have hopes of reaching the SEC title, potentially the playoffs, if everything lines up for them. They've both been having woes on certain sides of the football. LSU's offense has not looked up to par, and Ole Miss's defense has certainly had some fraudulent issues come up as well. LSU's coming into this game as a 1.5-point underdog, which is very surprising. I will say I am quite a bit shocked that Ole Miss is the favorite here. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to say for sure, but Red, who you got?
I really don't want to pick Brian Kelly, but I'm going to pick Brian Kelly and LSU for one reason only. Again, Ole Miss is begging to get knocked down a peg. They found a pretty decent option at quarterback in Chambliss, and he's done pretty well the last game or two he's played in. But at the same time, I know they just beat up Tulane, which I was really hoping Tulane was going to pull through and tell Lane Kiffin to shut the fuck up, but we didn't get that, unfortunately. Tulane is still going to Tulane it. I think that LSU coming out into this week, I think that they got to beat up Southeast Louisiana pretty hard and look pretty good. They got some more momentum, I think, right now than Ole Miss does. And I know a lot of people. I see the poll right there. 75% of the fans think Ole Miss is going to win this one. If you scroll back up, I saw that chart, which kind of amazes me. I figured it'd be a little bit more 50-50. 73% of the fans think Ole Miss is going to win. I think LSU is going to take this one. I know it's in Vaught-Hemingway, but I don't know, dude. I just don't believe in Ole Miss. Now, if Ole Miss is able to win this game, I'll start giving Kiffin a little bit of credit. But right now, no. Unfortunately, I have to side with the decrepit bastard Brian Kelly. I got to stand up for a second. My legs are falling asleep. But I'm still here.
I hear you. And I'll take your side on that one too. However you think about what Chambliss did, and Chambliss had a really good game. He put up a really, really good fight against that Arkansas defense. But as we know now, Arkansas's defense just is really terrible. So what I do know is that this is going to be a night and day difference when it comes to defenses that him or Austin Simmons, if he's playing, is going to have to face. And so, yeah, I've got LSU in this one. I think their defense holds strong. Even on the road, I think the Tigers are going to get the job done and beat Ole Miss.
All right.
I know, crazy. BK is actually showing his talent. Stunning. Yeah, what the fuck? Stunning revelation, even.
I hate him. I hate that man with a burning passion. Like I despise that human being. He's so two-faced. Like I followed this man for a good chunk of my life, ever since he coached at Cincinnati back in the late 2000s. He's always been a two-faced son of a bitch, and I've never liked him. As Chat keeps on wanting to say about actions and things he's done that's been terrible that I'm not going to repeat on camera, but I just fucking despise that man. He's not good for
here you go.
Argument words.
I guess we'll move on then. Here's a matchup that I think a lot of people are going to love, including myself. This one seems like a really fun one. So Auburn goes down against Oklahoma last week. Now they go on the road once again. This time they're heading to College Station to face off against the top 10, number 9 Texas A&M Aggies, who, of course, they beat Notre Dame earlier on in the year. They've got a couple of good wins under their belt, and now, they're coming in as a top 10 team. There's a lot of hype in this one, I think, and that's because we have no idea whether or not Auburn is going to recover from that beatdown they took, and it wasn't even really a beatdown; they just beat themselves necessarily. So I expect them to be mad going into this game. A&M's going to have to hold strong, and I think this could be a potentially tough one for them. But I think A&M holds strong at home. I think their defense does enough to keep Auburn at bay. I think they do enough to keep Arnold at bay. Whether or not you lay the 6.5, I'm not entirely sure. But what I do know is that Marcel Reed might be the truth. We'll see.
My legs are almost awake now. Sorry.
You're good.
My legs were out fucking cold. That chair you see on screen is such a piece of shit. I've had that since like COVID times when I had to work from home. It's so shit. I gotta get a new one. I'm gonna go with Auburn on this one. Primarily, I know Texas A&M, College Station, 100,000 red asses yelling God knows what and bus driver chance at them. Jackson Arnold, I think he's going to come back and rebound in this one. A&M, they gave up, God, how many points did they give up against Notre Dame? 40, I think. And they only won because a kid dropped the snap on a field goal attempt. So, like, yeah, you scored a fuck ton. Marcel Reed had himself a day in South Bend, but you're going up against a team that actually has a decent defense who shut down Oklahoma for most of the game. Yeah, I'm gonna side with the Tigers here personally. You know, it's 8-3, same as ever was. It's gonna 8-4, same as ever was. I think that's gonna happen again this year. And that's not a dig at Mike Elko. It's just the way things are at A&M. So, yeah, gonna go with them. Here I come.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard from the individual, and yeah,
I am a whole individual.
All right, great stuff. Okay, then. Well, let's go ahead and move on here, because I know. I mean, obviously, there are some really, really good games coming up that we've got to discuss too. Yeah, I think again because there are two games that everybody's got their eyes on, and we'll just go ahead and waste no more time, and we'll just go right into them and cover those, shall we? Because I think this is the one. I mean, College Game Day is going to this one. Everybody's got their eyes set on this game right here. Two undefeated tyrants battling it out against each other. Number 6, Oregon, and number 3, Penn State. Oregon traveling to Happy Valley. Penn State hasn't gotten a win this big in a very, very long time, and they have a very big chance of doing it in this matchup. They're coming in as 3.5-point favorites against the Ducks. Both teams are very talented, as we have seen firsthand. But Penn State hasn't necessarily been challenged at all. Oregon has gotten at least somewhat of like a Power 5 opponent to play against, or Power 4. But Penn State has just been cruising along through their schedule, not beating anybody that anybody cares about. But now we finally get to see them against some true competition, and it's going to be a brawl for sure. Red, since you're the Big Ten guy, you tell me what you think.
Number one, yeah, Oregon's beating up Oklahoma State does not mean they beat up a Power 4 opponent. Oklahoma State's basically just a slack FCS team at this point. And Oregon State, to be fair, they're like MAC level right now. Just let's be real. Looking at it, though, I think I already know what the result of this game is. I don't even have to look at the players. I don't have to look at the stats. I just know what the fuck happens to Penn State when the lights are on and it's prime time and there's a big name in the house. Doesn't matter if it's Michigan. Doesn't matter if it's Ohio State. It sure as shit doesn't matter if it's Oregon. They're going to lose. James Franklin is terrible against teams ranked in the top 10 at home or anywhere for that matter. So one way or another, Oregon's going to win this game, I think. I don't care how good Penn State is. They always fucking choke against these top ranked teams. Even when they're ranked high themselves, they fucking choke.
All right. Well, you said, it's very, very tough to predict. But one thing that's really hard to counter up against is the wideout. And let's be real here. Oregon has not seen an environment like this in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be one of the loudest environments they've ever faced off against. They're going to be breathing down their necks the entire ball game, and that defense is going to keep them in it. It's all dependent on how well Oregon's going to be able to cover up the run. And while I do think their effort is going to be good, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be really, really close. I've got Penn State winning this one, and a close one, and I don't think they choke. I think they actually win it. When they get their first big win of the season and prove everyone wrong about the James Franklin narrative.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing to say about narratives, they're meant to be reinforced. They're never broken. And I don't think it's going to break this Saturday. But we'll see. By the way, fuck you, Fox. Why does Penn State get a whiteout game at night and Ohio State doesn't get shit at night?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Y'all get noon. Have fun with Michigan at noon, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, here's speaking of look at this. Look at these two piles of poop. My goodness. It's about that favorite time for the Georgia haters like myself because, well, their kryptonite's coming to town. Alabama, even though they did lose to Florida State, has been a team that's been the thorn of Kirby Smart's side for the longest time. Despite Georgia, of course, getting that huge win over Tennessee on the road, they got to face their kryptonite after a bye week, and Alabama's been preparing as well for this matchup. It's going to be a brawl for sure. I'm very excited to see it go down. Can Georgia finally get the jump over their hated, well, they're not even necessarily rivals. They just hate Alabama because they keep beating them. What do you think? What do you think? Can Kalen DeBozo go in there and beat Georgia and Sanford?
No. No, dude. Like, if you can't go into Florida State and beat the Seminoles, you're not going to go into Sanford and beat the Bulldogs. I'm sorry. It's just not going to fuck. Alabama, they've righted the ship the last couple of weeks, primarily because they've played fucking nobody. All right? That's the only reason why they got 2 wins in their win column right now is because they played nobody. This is the first time they've played anybody of any caliber since Florida State. I don't fucking trust this team to get it done. I know it's like, oh, it's Georgia's kryptonite. Yeah, but Georgia's kryptonite was Nick Saban, not Kalen fucking DeBoer. Okay, let's just get that straight. It was Nick Saban, not Alabama. The man makes the team. The team doesn't always make the man. So I got Georgia winning, and I think it's going to be a convincing result, and it's going to fully knock the Tide out of any delusions that they could still be competitive for the playoffs here.
All right. Well, Bama might as well stay home.
You won't agree with me just because
they just might as well stay home. Alabama might as well just stay home, not even show up for this game. Georgia's going to beat them by 900 points, probably somewhere around 900. I mean, there's just no way in any feasible reality Bama wins this game. Georgia's going to dominate them. Georgia's going to win the national championship this year. They aren't going to choke in any capacity at any point throughout the season. They're the best team of all time. They're going to win this game. They're going to win every other game on their schedule. They're absolutely going to win the national championship. Most importantly, Gunnar Stockton's going to win the Heisman.
Hold the fuck on. What?
Don't worry about it. Let's move on.
No. I'm not moving the fuck on, bro.
We are.
Is there somebody behind the camera with a gun and a card showing you that you got to read certain words right now? Like,
no,
blink twice if you're being held hostage.
No, buddy, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's what's happening. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. That's exactly what's happening. I've never been wrong about any game I've ever covered, and Georgia's just gonna absolutely whoop them. That's just gonna happen. Yeah. All right. Well then, real quick before we go ahead and wrap it up here, let's do a lightning round on the games real fast. We got you just tell me who you think is going to win. Number 24 TCU on the road at Arizona State. Arizona State's a 2.5-point favorite. Who you got in that one?
I got TCU winning that game. People continue to undervalue the strength of the Horned Frogs and their ability to win. Again, I think TCU is going to take care of business on that one.
The Josh Hoover narrative lives on. Give me TCU as well. All right, here we go. Here's the noon slate on Saturday. Number 16, Georgia Tech on the road at Wake Forest. The Yellow Jackets are a 13.5-point favorite. I'm telling you right now, give me the Jackets and lay the points. Wake Forest has just not been good at all as of recently. And Georgia
Jackets
Tech
are going to lay the wood. Yeah. Jackets are going to lay the fucking wood on Wake Forest.
Yeah, their run defense is just absolutely terrible. They're going to run Tech's going to run all over them.
You poor fuckers.
Yeah, right. Number 22, 1-2 Notre Dame going on the road at Arkansas. So Notre Dame at Arkansas. The Fighting Irish are a 4.5-point favorite. Keep in mind that spread is a little low, but that's what you're looking at there. This is a tough one to call, Red. What do you think?
Unfortunately, the Irish are going to win this one because Arkansas is just going to fumble it on the final drive like they've done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, sorry, Notre Dame wins in the final drive of the game in typical Arkansas fashion. All right, Louisville at Pitt. Louisville is a 4.5-point favorite. They're also undefeated. I'm going to go ahead and take Pitt. I think Holstein recovers from the game that he had last week against West Virginia. I think he puts up a much better fight. I think they give Louisville their first loss of the season. And I think they do a better job of holding down Isaac Brown.
Yeah, give me Pitt on this one. Louisville, they really haven't shown anybody anything that they can really do yet, and there's just a lot of unknowns there. So naturally, you're going to speculate, well, maybe they could compete with Pitt. No, Holstein's too good at quarterback. I'll take the Panthers on this one.
All right, there you go. Indiana, number 11, Indiana at Iowa. Indiana a 7.5-point favorite. After what I saw, I'm taking the Hoosiers every day of the week. Even though I do like Mark Gronowski, I don't think it's going to be enough.
It's going to be a tougher challenge for Indiana. It's not like Iowa is just an absolute dog shit team. Yeah, they had a tough matchup against Rutgers last week, but at the same time, Iowa's defense is an absolute juggernaut, as they usually are. So they're not going to be able to throw up 60 points on the Hawkeyes. I hate to tell you, but I still like Indiana to win this game. The fact that they mugged Illinois so hard last week, it's just going to go to show. It just goes to show the firepower they have on offense. It's going to be even hard even for Iowa to contain it. So, Hoosiers all the way on this one.
All right, there you have it. All right, here. This is a battle of the undefeateds. Actually, undefeated Arizona at 3-0 and undefeated Iowa State at 4-0. Iowa State's a 5.5-point favorite in this matchup. It's at Iowa State. You think they get the job done in Jack Trice?
Yeah, I think Iowa State gets the job done in this one. They've been pretty solid to start the year. They got the week off last week after, cruising to 4-0. I mean, cruising. They had a little bit of a toughie against Iowa week 2, I think, for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. But, yeah, buddy, I still got the clones in this one. Arizona, though, shout out to them. They've made some headways this year, and they're working their way back.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's just go ahead and get into the final 2 games, and then we'll call it a wrap unless anybody has any more if we have time.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. This is I'm sure you've got some things to say about this one, as this is also a battle of the undefeateds. Ohio State, the number 1 team in the nation, facing off against 3-0 Washington on the road. This game's at 3:30 on CBS. Ohio State's coming in as a 9.5-point favorite in this one. As you would expect, they're heavy favorites, whichever way you look at them. Red, you take it away. Tell me what you think.
I mean, it could be a trap game. Genuinely saying that. It could be a trap game. Washington's no pushover. We know that they've been on a very quick rebuild over the last 2 seasons after the national championship run they had. Last year, it was an absolute, kind of dog shit, but this year they've kind of started to kind of work their way through it. I still got Ohio State winning this one, obviously. Nothing about Washington screams that they're going to be able to shut down Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith, but give me the Buckeyes. It's pretty biased to say that, but just give me the Buckeyes.
All right. Well, yeah. I also do think this is going to be I actually do think this is going to be a fight for Ohio State. I like, obviously Julian Sayan's been tested against a defense. Like he fought against Texas for, and that's about as good of a test as you can get. But Washington's defense up front has been better. And plus I do think Desmond Williams Jr. he's going to be a problem. I think he's going to put some problems against Ohio State's defense. I don't really know what to expect. If they're having an off day, I could see Williams putting up some really big numbers here on this defense, but I'm not convinced it's going to happen. I think Ohio State's going to hold them down good enough to get the jump on them, and the Buckeyes are going to win the game in a close one. A few times these guys have played before, it's always been like big stakes. Like the last time I think these two played each other was like 2003 when Ohio State was coming off their national title and Washington was ranked in the top 25 for a non-conference game. So I remember watching that one live actually because that was the first one after the title. Yeah, that was a good one. And Keith Jackson made the call. Great. Good old Keith Jackson. All right, well, here we go. Yeah. And of course, you're probably wondering my thoughts on this team or on this game. This is what I've been saying all season, that we're going to lose. And I'm not necessarily as confident in that take because both teams, not just one, but both, have looked better than I thought. And I think Tennessee has looked a lot better than what people thought, and specifically because their offense has been well improved. Tennessee's offense is nothing like the offense you saw from last year. They're dominant. And they know how to score on good teams. We saw that against Georgia. Tennessee was doing whatever they wanted to on Georgia's secondary, just couldn't hold on in the end and choked in typical Tennessee style. Mississippi State, on the other hand, has been having some fun too. They're 4-0, undefeated, tore down the goalposts against Arizona State when they beat them. It's a huge win for them, huge win for the program. But now they host Tennessee, and Tennessee is a top 15 team. They've got a better offense than Arizona State. They've got less question marks than Arizona State. Probably the biggest question mark for Tennessee going into this game is how bad is the defense going to be banged up? Because of course, David Hobbs, Jermon McCoy, and Ricky Gibson, all three are questionable. And if you know anything about Josh Heupel, he loves to keep you on your toes about the injury report. You never know who's actually playing in a Josh Heupel game until you actually see them on the field of game time. So we won't know for certain whether or not any of those guys are going to be ready to play. If they are, that's wonderful. The defense will automatically take a step forward because of that. If they aren't, and we've got to send another true freshman out there in the secondary, that could be some big time trouble because Blake Shopping has been having some fun slinging the football. So I think this is going to be a tough battle either way. Tennessee is going to have all they want and more, but I'm going to give it to Tennessee. I think we survive. I'm flipping my take from what I had in the offseason because this team looks far different than the one I saw before. I trust them to go on the road and take care of business as they should because they have a statement to make. Heupel's got a statement to make. The team's got a statement to make. They're all talking about how they're playoff contenders, and you're going to have to win games like these in order to prove that.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Tennessee, and I don't really have to think about it too much because Joey Aguilar is still fucking elite. I genuinely don't think that Mississippi State's going to be able to shut him down with Brazel there at wide receiver. He is just going the fuck off. And even when they try to contain the air raid, well, here comes Thomas in the backfield to run it up their ass. I genuinely speaking, Mississippi State has done very well. They're definitely on the rise. They're working their way back. They're a lot better than what they were, but they're not there yet. They still have question marks on defense. And going up against a powerhouse like Tennessee right now, as a neutral fan who doesn't really give a shit about either side, because I know how you are about these guys, everything on paper just screams Tennessee's going to run away with this one. Genuinely, Tennessee's going to run away with this one. I really do.
Seems like the likely outcome. You'd think, yeah.
I mean, Aguilar is so damn pinpoint accurate on his throws. Like it's insane to think. Yeah, you lost to Georgia, big whoop. You cut it to the fucking end there. If Georgia is as good as you say they are, Tennessee's going to be right fucking there next to him the whole way. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Well, I hope that's the truth. But this is important to note, by the way. No night game with no Fowler Herbie combo. That's very important because we can never win those games to save our lives, and thankfully we do not have to deal with that this time.
I hope you're
no Chris Fowler commentary crew this time. That's very important to take into account. Yeah, well, that's all she wrote for this week. I mean, there's more games, but you know, we don't need to talk about UCF and Kansas State. Who wants to talk about that? Ugh, I don't. I refuse to talk about that one. That's one where you just got to watch to see the chaos unfold. So, it's Red, you got any final parting words before we call this show a wrap?
Yes, I apologize to the Nebraska fans that I gave too much hope this past weekend when I said that Nebraska was going to beat the piss out of Michigan. I definitely jinxed your asses. I am very sorry, Husker Nation. Please take the corn cob out of. Never mind. No, I'm going to just say once again, thank you guys for the support for both of our channels, for getting on this fucking wild ride. This dumbass over here, I shit you not, is working himself into the fucking grave to produce content every single week for you crazy fucks. And you know, he deserves every little bit of support that he gets. Thank you for the little bit of support y'all have given me as well. We just hit 6,000 subs on my channel, which is crazy because I hit 5,000 3 weeks ago. I hit 5,000 3 weeks ago, and we are up to 6,000. Like, we're starting to kind of, I don't know, you crazy bastards seem to think I'm doing something good here, so I appreciate that. And just thank you so much. Be on the lookout for, like I said earlier in the stream, my appearance on the Ohio podcast on Sunday to recap the Ohio to Washington, hopefully a victory for the Buckeyes. And, my own video coming out later this week. So, Squid.
All right, man. Well, you said it better than I could. Yeah, no. First of all, congratulations on 6K. That's a big milestone. Hoping to see you continue to move forward. And yeah, be patient is all I can say with the chaos, because, well, the chaos goes on outside of the football realm, as you all know all too well. So I'm going to try and stay consistent with it, work on it as best as I can. And that's all there is. That's all she wrote for this week. Fog Velic, appreciate the two buddies. Says thank you for the chaos vid, Squid, and congrats on 6K Red.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you all next week for another edition of the FBS Report. Same time as always, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You won't want to miss it. I'm sure there'll be some chaos to unpack, as there always has been. So until then, talk to y'all later. And as always, power to Tardaria and whatever he says.
Make sure you brush your teeth twice a day.
He telling the facts as is, and I will click the button in the stream so that we don't end it together and cause glitches. We've already had one of those.
That's the favorite.
God save the Queen!